If you have seen doctor after doctor and every single test comes back normal, this video is for you. Because I spent years being told the same exact thing. 36 doctors, 4 nerve conduction studies, a pain management clinic with 8 separate specialists, 4 neurologists, 499 pages of medical records, all of it documented as normal. While I was asking my partner to help me find a way out because I could not live like that anymore. My name is Joe Reed. I am a neurological restoration specialist, and I want to show you what every single one of those doctors missed. This story starts when I was 15 years old. I was on my bike, going as fast as I could possibly go, and I smashed my face into the back of a parked car. I broke my nose, gave myself a massive concussion, and most of all, I severely injured my jaw. 4 years later, at 19, I went to a workplace health event. And a chiropractor examined me and told me that I had uneven hips, a limb length discrepancy. First time I'd ever heard of that. And he was wrong. My jaw was the driver from that accident at 15 years old. Nobody connected those two things for the next 2 decades. That misread is the entire story in miniature. My body was being misunderstood from the very first injury. At 25, my lower back locked up completely for 2 weeks. The pain migrated into my inguinal nerve and eventually into my left testicle. I had 2 rounds of nerve block injections directly into the nerve. 0 relief and crazy pain. In 2010, my best friend died of a heroin overdose. I knew the last time I saw him, it would be the last time, and I couldn't stop it. I got the call from his brother late one night, and a year later, almost to the day, I went in for a routine blood draw. The same phlebotomist who had drawn my blood successfully multiple times previously could not find a vein. 6 pokes, 4 in the right arm, and 2 in the left. My left arm was structurally altered for 8 years from that moment. I had a constant softball-sized area of pain in the back of my arm, and pain began spreading throughout my entire body afterwards. Here's what I know now that I did not know then. The nervous system registers emotional threat and physical threat in the exact same place. My grief and my physical injuries were filling the same bucket. Nobody told me that. 36 individual doctors, 60 plus practitioners total, 4 nerve conduction studies, all normal. Pain management clinic, 8 separate doctors at that clinic, all normal. 4 neurologists, heavy nerve drugs, MS and ALS officially tested for and thankfully ruled out. A rheumatologist confirmed I lit up every single active tender point required for a fibromyalgia diagnosis, then refused to formally diagnose me. He said that my case was just too complicated. I could not even get a label. My general practitioner of 17 years told me that I was not a normal human being and that I just needed to be studied. 499 pages of medical records. A disability attorney reviewed every single page and refused to take my case because everything said normal. I could not shake hands anymore. And I drove with one hand because unpredictable pain would just jolt through my hand at any time it wanted to, and I would just yank the wheel. I couldn't twist off a water bottle cap, and I couldn't cut up my own food. I remember being at a family holiday party, and my girlfriend, who's now my wife, was cutting up my food for me. My sister-in-law looked over and she laughed and scoffed, and she said, "Is that real?" And I told her, "No, I just brought a slave with me to cut up my food." It was one of the most embarrassing days of my life. And yeah, it was very real. My hands and my wrists hurt so much I could not feed myself at a family dinner. I stopped leaving my house after that. I'd spent nearly 15 years as a warehouse supervisor for a large school district. It was physical work. It was demanding work. It was the career that I had built my identity around. And I had planned to retire at 55 with a full pension. And instead, in 2015, I was forced out, was medically retired. I also had a business partner. We taught photography workshops together. That was my other life and my passion, the one that kept me sane as I went through all this pain. By 2015, I could no longer hold a camera. I could no longer manage a lens. I couldn't even handle a lightweight tripod. And that chapter closed too. The state pension system approved my disability retirement within 30 days of my application. My risk manager told me that I might hear something within 9 months. And they called in 30 days. They said, "Mr. Reed, today is your last day of work. You have been approved for disability retirement." I was 37 years old. 13 years of pension vesting. And instead of retiring on my terms at 55 like I had planned, I got $1,250 a month in Orange County, California, with my adult son living with me at the time. That was what they handed me and wished me good luck. I stood in public food lines just to survive. My wife, Jenny, is disabled. We used to take turns pushing each other in a wheelchair when we started dating. And then it became only me. The handicap placard became mine full time. I fell 5 times over the course of about a year and a half. And Jenny picked me up every single time off of the floor. The pain affected everything, including intimacy. I won't go into detail, but if you've experienced this, you know exactly what I mean. And you probably have never heard a practitioner say it out loud before. The 5th fall, it happened in our bedroom in 2016. I took 1 step out of bed, my leg buckled, and I hit the floor. Jenny was there to pick me up again. This time was a little different. She looked down at me and had the face of a parent who was looking down at the child, wondering if they were going to be okay. I told her daily that I would rather not live, and I meant it. On that floor, on that last fall, I made a decision. She would never have to pick me up again, or I would die fighting. Those were the only 2 options that I had. Here's what every single one of those doctors got wrong. And here is what I eventually figured out. Number 1, pain is not a damage report. Pain is a nervous system output. Your scan being normal is not a mystery. It is confirmation that the problem is upstream from the structure. Number 2, every treatment that helped temporarily was talking to the wrong system. Symptom chasing never resolves protection. It just quiets the alarm briefly. Number 3, your body is not broken. It is running a protection loop. Threat detected, signal sent, body guards. The loop does not end until you address the threat at the source. Number 4, the inputs the nervous system actually runs on are not medications or manipulations. They are light, movement, breath, grounding, sensory signal. In 2017, I became symptom-free, not from a drug, not from surgery. I stopped chasing treatments and started feeding my nervous system what it had actually been starved of for 2 decades. And by October of 2017, the fibromyalgia symptoms, they'd gone completely quiet. Number 5, I want to show you something right now. Take a baseline test for me and turn your head as far as you can in each direction comfortably. Notice where it stops. Notice where there may be some restriction. I want you to use a thumb, either one, and I want you just to have it out in front of you about arm's length. And I want you to stare at a singular point on that thumb. What I'd like you to do is keep your head still, eyes stay fixed, and I would like you to just make a really small, light spiral. You're going to go across the center of your body, nice and slowly. Keep your eyes fixed on that singular point and do one small spiral in each direction as your eyes follow. Then go back and retest that baseline where you just turned your head in each direction and notice if it feels any different. Notice if you feel any less restriction. or if you might even have a little bit more range of motion. That is not a trick. That is not a gimmick. That is your nervous system receiving new input, and it gives you a new output. And that's how fast the nervous system really works, almost instantaneously. I am not a recovered person standing at a safe distance from pain today. In 2019, I had an emergency abdominal surgery. My appendix was intact on the CT scan, but it ruptured while I was on the table. Sepsis, 8 days in the hospital, and I almost died. Since 2020, at least once a year, something ordinary triggers that scar, and my back locks up into the shape of a Z, and I'm off my feet for days. In 2024, I couldn't walk for 2 days. I had to crawl around my house. I even had to use the wheelchair that I used years ago once again. That same wheelchair that I clawed my way out of, I had to use it again. I knew exactly what it was this time, the scar, and I got up. In 2025, a practitioner pressed too hard into my surgical scar during a training course. My nervous system went into survival mode shock. 2 weeks of complete lost cognitive function. 5 months of the worst physical pain of my entire life, while still having to run my clinic, still physically demonstrating to clients every single day. And I ended up fixing it myself. I released my left external oblique, and I activated the dormant left quadratus lumborum muscle. That pain had been building for 5 months, and then it was gone. I still fight this. I just win faster now, because I know exactly what my nervous system is doing and why. That is not a weakness in my credibility. That is the proof of everything that I teach. If you want to feel what I just showed you in your own body right now, I built a free experience for exactly this. It is called the Misunderstood Body Reset Experience. The link is in the description. Go do it before you watch another video. This is for you if your scans are normal and you are still in pain. If you have seen multiple practitioners and nothing has held. If your pain moves around. If you've been told that it is permanent. If someone in your life has had to pick you up off the floor. You are not broken. You are not being difficult. You are not managing it. Your body is not broken. It is misunderstood.